Ooh, it's Wednesday, so you know it's time for Brunch with Diva. I just want to thank you guys for joining. My lighting might be a little off today because it's really cloudy outside. All that natural light that I long to have. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Anissa. Thanks for joining. Oh, goodness. Hello, 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 my daughter, Miss Elizabeth O1. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Michelle. Thanks for joining. Well, you guys, I tell you that sorry if my lighting seems a little weird today, or at least it seems that way to me. But, in other news, I just wanted to point out these lovely earrings because I shopped small not long ago. And I shopped from this place called Hob Mob. Hoop Mob. I'm sorry, Hoop Mob. Great packaging, loved it. Oh, my earrings came in this little package. Great. I love a good hoop. If y'all haven't noticed, I love to wear hoops. Those are my all-time favorites. That's really the only thing I wear other than my diamond studs. But let me tell you, if you need hoops, Hoop Mob is for you. So, as usual, you guys, I'm always excited when I have guests on. My guest today actually was on the first show of Brunch with Diva. And being as though it's the holidays, I know, Anessa, you need some hoops, girl. You should. You would look great in hoops. And being as that we're here in the holiday season, I felt this in my spirit that we just needed some uplifting. And there's only like a handful of people that I just find really just uplifting, carefree. I mean, awesome personality. I mean, oh my God, I could just go on and on about her. She and I vibe from the beginning. I love it. I love her whole entire self. So without further ado, hey, everyone for joining. Hey, Trish. Hi, hi, hi. Hey, Nikki. Thanks for joining. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get her to come on. Did she send me an invite? Let me see. Let me check. Oh, no, but let me send her one. Oh, I, yes, I know. You can't help but love her. She's awesome
You
song.
guys are so sweet. I love all of you, Rhonda.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you back on Brunch with Diva.
I'm so happy to be here. So I just want to say my makeup looks insane and not in a good way. I was trying something new, so just
I think
ignore.
you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I think I look a little crazy.
No, you don't at all. No, you don't at all. I love it. I love it.
Oh,
It gives the drama that Brunch with Diva needs,
yes.
beside me,
Okay.
of
All
course.
right. I'm with that.
Beside me, of course. But, you know,
Unmatched.
I so happy that you came back on the show because, as I said earlier, you were my first guest on Brunch with Diva.
I know. And you've
And
been so successful.
oh, thank you so much. Oh, I
You are
appreciate it.
beloved in this
Oh my
community.
goodness. Well, I tell you that I felt as though, that this month, the beginning of the month, that we needed to connect again
Mhm.
on this level, on this platform, because the holidays can be such a terrible time for people,
Mhm.
whether they're with their families or if they're alone. And especially
Absolutely.
because you can be around a ton of people and be alone, honey. So, I just think that with the pandemic going on and all of these things, I just think that it called for some type of positivity, some uplifting. And before we get into all that, I just want to give you a chance to, introduce yourself and tell people kind of about you.
Sure. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Allie. I am an MSW, a social worker, and a mental health and mindset coach, as well as, like probably everyone in this chat, a reseller. So, I use my Instagram platform to kind of integrate both of those things, small business ownership and mental health.
Mhm.
And that's a short about me.
She gave us the cliff notes, y'all, but she's awesome. Well, I tell you that, definitely around this time of year or any time really for resellers, it could just be frantic. And only because, it's here, we're at the holidays and, everybody wants to sell, 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 sell. Then, get themselves all worked up. If they don't, get themselves all worked up. If they have too many sales, they're overwhelmed, they have too much inventory, got to get rid of it, all these kind of things. What do you have to say?
This is a tough business for anyone who really struggles with stress and anxiety, especially if part of their livelihood and being able to put food on the table and pay the bills is connected to how much they sell. I mean, I'm not an expert in reselling, but it's a really unpredictable market. So I would say to kind of bring that stress and anxiety level down, make a plan how you and your family can be okay if sales don't go your way, right? Because there's no guarantee. What can you do? Do you have to budget better? Do you need to, I don't know, pick up some holiday hours somewhere? But if that's not the case, if reselling is some extra income, some play money, some pocket cash, chill out.
Right?
Chill out. It is what it, I mean, we all want to be really successful. But like I said, it's an unpredictable business. And people who particularly struggle with stress and anxiety have brains that really thrive on certainty, right? So knowing what's coming next,
Right.
which again is tough for this business. So I would say to those people, control what you can control. Keep your side of the street tidy. Are you following through with your plan for listing? Are you sharing? Are you getting your sales out on time? Put the control there on the things that are in your control, and kind of practice a release with stuff that is just not up to you.
Right. And that's the one thing that I think that we all can be guilty of. I'm going to include
Oh,
myself.
100%.
We
Me, I
all
mean, me
can.
too.
Yeah, we all are guilty of just, getting ourselves worked up about, things that we cannot control. I mean, and the reseller market is one of those things that you just can't control.
Exactly.
I
My
mean,
point.
yes, I mean, you cannot, say, oh, I mean, well, you can. Let me not say that. You can say, I'm going to get up and I'm going to make 10 sales today.
Right.
And, for someone who is, doesn't have issues with anxiety or, putting all this amount of pressure on themselves to make that 10 sales, I can get up in the morning and say, well, I'm going to make 10 sales today and may make five, you know, but
Right.
I'm okay with that five
Right.
because you know what? A sale is a sale. I'm okay with if I say I'm going to make five and I make one. Oh, my thing is a sale is a sale. It might not have been what you wanted it to be, but you should celebrate that nonetheless. Celebrate the fact that
I
you did that.
totally agree. A tip that I love is switching out but for and. So in that example you just gave, my goal was to make 5 sales, but I made only 5 is way different. My goal was to make 10 sales, and I made 5. Do
Right,
you hear the
exactly. You're right.
difference? It's completely
Yeah.
different, and your brain hears that difference, right?
Hmm.
It's these subtle tweaks in how we talk to ourselves that can really affect our mood.
Hmm. And that's so true. I just think that we have to start talking to ourselves better.
Oh, yeah.
We have to start talking to ourselves better. The way that you might compliment the next person, compliment yourself. The way you may celebrate someone else's accomplishment, celebrate yours. Don't forget about you because you're all you have to uplift you. You know,
I think
I go
I
ahead.
think it's really cool because I think we're in a culture that allows us to do that now. I mean, especially within this community, we're all about not only promoting each other, but celebrating each other when we promote ourselves. And I don't think the culture was always like that, especially for
Right.
women, like be humble, know your place. And now
Child, my
I
place is
feel like we're
wherever
in
I
a really
desire
cool
for it to
time.
be.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I'm like, my place is wherever I desire it to be.
Hell
But you
yeah.
know,
Hell
but you
yeah.
know, you're right, is that it wasn't like that. And we were like, okay, you're a nice lady, you stay in
Yeah.
a lady's place. And
Yeah.
I'm like, where exactly is that?
I'd
Honey,
like to know.
yeah, we are breaking
I'm
laws.
pretty
We
sure
are
I don't
doing,
belong there.
I don't belong there. I'm definitely at the wrong party. So,
Right. Right.
but
I
I
mean,
just,
I think that's probably the biggest reason that I just found myself gravitating to this community, because it's really special. It's really special. There's not too many. There's not. I mean, of course, there's the drama and the tea and whatever, but for the most part, we're so lucky to have each other, I feel.
oh, oh, exactly. Let me just say that, I mean, here I am. Let's see, I've already reached like, I guess a year and a half almost. So I just think that finding this community was probably one of the best things that has happened to me in reselling, because I have met so many awesome people, present company included.
Back at
And, I
you.
have met so many people. And I tell you, this is why I say to everyone, just don't be afraid to reach out, because you just never know. I mean, I reached out to you, but I had been following you for a while, but I reached out to you, and because the vibe was there for me, I felt like we vibed on that level. So, I just think that, sometimes you have to find your people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
because
I mean, especially now, like online friendships are pretty much the most genuine friendships you can get right
baby,
now.
online friendships are life right now.
I mean, exactly. So I just feel really, really grateful. And my biggest tip for how I made a lot of friends was just watching stories and then like being like, oh, like compliment them or ask a question, and then these really organic conversations start.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't met anyone that I met on Instagram in real life, but I really feel truly, truly connected and a deep caring. And I think if we're talking about holidays and the stress of the holidays, and especially during this pandemic, is isolation. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's another reason that we're so lucky to be in this space. And I mean, not to blow smoke up Poshmark's butt, but they really marketed Poshmark as a community space. And I mean, I don't know if they wanted that inside the app, because I don't think that really happens, but communities have formed and really strong friendships and best friends
That's true.
for life. Somebody said, what if they don't engage back? Message
Yes,
somebody
that's
else.
Glow Girl Glow. That's Nikki. What if they don't engage back? Let me just tell you, I have found, just for me, I have found that engagement, it just has to be consistent. I think one of the things that Leslie says, the reseller's passion, always says you have to show up every day, be yourself, be that. But engaging and not everyone is on social media at the same time. You're right, Nikki. But the thing that I do is normally I take time out of my day specifically to engage. And I know
Yeah.
that you're busy and you have a full day, Nikki. But I just take out time to engage. And I love engaging. That's the thing, is that I love
Well,
engaging with everybody.
that's the thing. It's not a chore. It's
Yeah. So, they're not on there at the same time. They might not, some people, you might answer 10 people after they've commented to you, and then you can go back and do what you were doing, come back, and they responded to you. So, I mean, this little tip, 4 words or more, is the thing. 4 words or more keeps it going, keeps you up there, keeps you seen. Posting on on a regular basis. I mean, I just think all those things work together, and people get to know that you are going to show up every day. You're going to show up every day, no matter what.
I
Yeah.
haven't been really great at showing up every day, but
Well, you know what? You have been good at showing up every day, but there's nothing wrong with taking some time away too.
That's right. I like how you said that. I agree with that. I think for me it started, well, especially because I promote both of my businesses, my reselling business and my coaching business, on
Hmm.
Instagram. So it kind of it's friendship, yes, but it was also business. So I've been trying to, for myself, kind of rethink the way that I'm approaching. Oh, thank you. Someone said my hair looks
Uh-huh.
lovely. Oh,
Yes,
thank you
Terry.
so much. You're so sweet. But I've been kind of revamping or trying to reimagine the way that I approach Instagram, where it's joyful and mindful. And honestly, everyone is really wonderful, and I think that we're really lucky. I said that a lot, but I really believe it to be true. I think that it's something really to appreciate,
Yes.
because this is, a solo gig for most of us. I mean, some people work in teams or with their families, but for most of us, this is something we do by ourselves. So, and people need people. We're social creatures. So we're really lucky.
I mean, that's how, and for me, I don't know if it's only child issues, honey, or what, but I've always been that, as my family likes to call me, the social butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. I think,
Mm-hmm.
my dad was like that. And I think that's maybe where I got it from. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just love the engagement and because girl, school was like
Social
my
hour.
yes, that was like my social hour. I got to chit chat with everyone and all that. So, I mean, I think I've just always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
But for those people that aren't, it does, maybe it takes a little bit more. Maybe it takes a little bit more effort to, put yourself out there. And especially, I think if you're growing a brand or whatever, sometimes we all do it. We all have to get to this point where we just have to step out on faith, you know. And what do
That's
they
so
say? Faith
real.
without work is dead,
Is dead.
So I kind of want to get back to, talking to, some people who during this
Hold
holiday.
on. I'm sorry, Margaret. I love you. I love you so much. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my, please say hi to Margaret.
My sweet baby girl,
I
Margaret.
know she is so sweet. And let me just mention that Anessa said she needed to know your lip color.
Oh, okay. So, um, I got a free Kylie lip kit with like a purchase from Ulta. I would have never bought Kylie because I've heard like you're just buying the name. But oh
I
my God,
love
like
Kylie.
come on,
It's
Kylie
cute.
did it.
Kylie has some really cute colors. I used to have some Kylie, last year sometime. But it's really kind of good. But for me, it was just a little
It's
too
dry.
over magic.
I put a little gloss on top of
Yeah.
it. But it is dry, but just a little gloss and
Yes,
okay.
I think it looks great.
Okay,
Another
now let's get back to the topic at hand.
Okay, so Salt Creek Style, who is Wendy, says yes, and everyone is not comfortable with social media, which is
Mhm.
true. Anessa says, I'm always nervous of not being accepted as part of the group. Really, Anessa? I don't get that vibe from you, but you know what? You just never know. You just never know. I mean, because someone could just be as outgoing as Anessa is and still have that feeling of being nervous or not being accepted.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes that's where we lose ourselves is wanting to just be, accepted. I want so and so to like me. I want so and so. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that because you. You have your own vibe, your own style, and which is one of the things I love about you, Anessa, by the way.
Yeah,
And
Nessa is so beloved. And I would just say that, I get it. I get it. I mean, we all have stuff from our past, like maybe like micro traumas or like big traumas where we were rejected, and that's real, and we carry that with us. But how can we move forward and confront that fear, right?
Mhm.
If And Anessa and anyone else listening, if somebody's rude to you and doesn't accept you as part of the circle, that says absolutely nothing about you and everything about them. And I know that's something you've heard before, but it's worth repeating.
And it's very true, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true. It's nothing that, I mean, that's just like someone who just has the crappiest attitude and you just don't know where that's coming from or whatever, you don't even know this. That has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with that person and what they're going through. And they're just, what am I trying to say? They're just being a butt.
Yeah.
I mean, they just want to find someone to attack at that particular moment. But
Yes.
it has nothing to do with you and everything in the world to do with them and what they're going through. But for the holiday season, I kind of wanted just to, allow people to be comfortable reaching out
Mm-hmm.
because with everything again, the pandemic, the COVID,
The
the
COVID.
COVID going on. And, some states people are having to buckle down. Once
Mm-hmm.
again, got to hunker down and stay inside, not do this, not visit with family
Mm-hmm.
in person,
Mm-hmm.
not, all these not, do not, do not, do not. So one of the things that I've had brought up to me is let me just, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but
Okay.
how can, how can, how can I not be at home and eat myself to death, drink myself
Oh.
to death, all these kind of things? What is it that I could do? Now I've had, that question asked. What is there? What can I do not to fall into this trap of just overeating, over drinking, or other
I
things that
love
I
that
probably should be
question.
doing?
Okay, I have an answer. First of all, we take away the shame, and we understand that we're everything we do, we're doing it for survival, right? So when humans are uncomfortable, our our body thinks it's in danger and it's going to seek safety, right? So there's no shame in overeating. There's no shame in drinking to make yourself feel more comfortable, or shopping, or sex, or whatever. It's very, very human. So
Yeah,
that's the first thing we want to do, is recognize that these struggles that we're going through, one, we're never alone, and two, they're happening because we're human beings, right? Because staying in that shame is going to make it way harder to move forward. So that's what I would say is number one. Just remember you're a human being, and you're built to protect yourself, and that's why you're choosing those behaviors and those cravings towards those things. Second thing is, you got to feel your feelings, right? So when you're feeling uncomfortable or anxious or stressed or angry or whatever it may be, and you just want to reach for whatever it is, the Christmas cookie, the eggnog, or the Black Friday deal, you need to be conscious that you're doing that to, not because you want that thing, it's because you want that feeling to go away, that uncomfortable feeling to go away. Sit with the feeling. Feelings can't hurt you. What can hurt you, um, what can hurt you is the over drinking, the overeating, for a plethora of ways. It's you eat too much, or maybe you feel lethargic, and you don't have energy, or drink too much, you have a hangover, and it just becomes this cycle.
right,
So
right.
you can be uncomfortable for hours, weeks, months, days, or you can sit in that feeling as long as that feeling takes to pass, and they always do. Does that make sense?
That definitely makes sense. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that one of the things that I like that you said was that we have to get over the shame of it all.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get over the shame of it all because let me tell you, I don't think that there was ever a time that I was ashamed to weigh 464 pounds. Now, what I was horrified, but
Okay.
once I found out how much I weighed, but I was not ashamed of that fact. I mean, I just felt like, got to do, it's past the time to do something about it.
Well, I think the fact that you weren't ashamed was a really good place to start.
Hmm. I don't think that I was ever that way because I never even thought that I even weighed that much. So really and truly, I never felt that way.
Good.
So,
That girl was feeling herself, and as you should have been, no matter your side, your personality, and your way of being, and the way you make people feel. That's what matters. And for you specifically, that's what really shines through. You are a magnet for people.
oh, thank you. You are so sweet. I feel that way about you, though.
Oh, thank you.
You are definitely a magnet. But I just think that, getting rid of the shame of our past, I just want people to know that your past doesn't define who you are today.
No.
You know, I don't care if you were living under a bridge and now you are in a fabulous home. Okay, you transitioned, you did something, you picked yourself up, you got to where you could afford this. Now you're in a better place. Now you are doing things that you probably didn't see yourself doing.
Right.
And, and I think that when people are alone, because like I said earlier, you could be in a room full of people and still be alone. You could be in the happiest relationship and still be alone. I've been there. So I know how that feels.
Yeah.
But it didn't define me.
No.
It's not who I am today.
No.
And
That's
that's
what
when
I always say, to my clients, and I just say it a lot, is your worth is innate. You were, the moment you took your first breath, you were worthy. It doesn't matter how many Poshmark sales you made. It doesn't matter if you're single or married or divorced, or how much money you make or how much you weigh. That's all shit put. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like it. If it's okay to swear,
that's
but
okay.
that's all stuff put on us from society, right?
Yes.
So we didn't when we were children, we didn't feel ashamed about how much money we had or what our bodies looked like. Most of us loved ourselves, and then unfortunately too young, society starts coming in and teaching us to be ashamed.
Yes, teaching us how we should look, how we should be dressing, how we should be doing all these
How
things.
our lifestyle should be,
Yes.
how much money we should have, what our face should look like, what our body should look like. Um,
Right.
so I always encourage my clients to think about back to before that was the case.
Hmm.
Like I said, for girls, sometimes it's really young. I think I can remember as early as kindergarten starting to feel that way.
Well,
You
I
know,
think that for me, it was always, just the cliff notes on my background. My parents were middle class. My mom stayed at home with me. I went to private school up until the eighth grade. So, I was always around a certain, type of uh, environment.
mhm.
And, as I grew, I'm grown now, whatever. But let me tell you that all that time, it was like seeing covers, I never saw people like me until later, much later on
Mhm.
down the line. And
Mhm.
so now I still love to see all the people that look like me, look like you, look like whoever doing what, this, that, and other, big, small, doesn't matter. I'm just all about inclusiveness.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think that social media even on Instagram, social media will have you thinking that so and so is just, you know, doing all this.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
yeah. You always say that it's not always what it looks like, and
and
it's
it's,
true. But you know what else I would like to say about social media is that I think that it's changing. I think not in all areas or not all corners of the internet,
mhm,
but I
mhm,
think social media is changing. I don't think that you have to be the most beautiful or the thinnest or the youngest. I think a personality counts big time. I think the value that you can give to your audience means way more than what you look like. And I
mhm,
think
mhm.
if you have something more unique about you, it helps you stick out.
I totally agree.
There's a lot of pretty people out there. There's a lot of pretty people. But what makes you interesting?
Right, right. I mean, that's the thing that I can tell you honestly, that's the thing that I'm attracted to when I look at other Instagrams. I mean, I just love to see people going on about their business, child, doing stuff that, yeah, reselling, yes, okay, show us that. But you know, when I see someone showing their house that's a mess,
Yeah.
you know, they're showing, if they decide to show their kids or their families or whatever, I love that. If they're just, you know going on about their daily routine, I love seeing things like that because I think that those are people who don't mind showing what's real, showing the honey, look, it's not all smoke and mirrors today. This is what it is. This is my reality. My kid just threw up on me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we're
So,
kind of tired of this really curated and careful Instagram world. In my opinion, I think the culture is shifting. It's not all about like perfectly curated feeds. It's about showing up, providing value to your audience, making connection. At least that's how I feel in at least our corner of the internet.
yeah, and I just think that for I don't know, I always say, well, I don't have anything interesting backstage going on with my life. So that's really probably why I never even post anything because, I'm just like, well, that's not it.
Oh, oh. Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh,
But,
that's okay.
I just
I forgot what
I
I was
just think
saying.
that, I most of the time I just don't because I'm like, well, that's not interesting. But I'm actually getting myself out of that. And, I'm going to do, some more just, videos or pictures or things like that just to show, what's happening in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
But
Something I learned for like the algorithm, especially Instagram stories, it's important to um, show up every day. So something I do that's so easy is take anything you do every day. I have a smoothie most days. So I cheers my smoothie to the camera and I like put like a little positive gif on it. And that's it. And maybe people wonder like why does she do this every day? It's just like it's called an anchor. It's just the thing that helps me show up every day. So if you want to do that too, just think about something you do every day or something easy like blow a kiss to the camera. It can be silly. The point is just that you're showing up.
right, right. And I did I did have something that I was gonna do, and then I don't know what happened. I just said, "Oh well, that probably wouldn't," and I just blew it off or whatever. But I am actually telling myself, you know what? Those things that I blow off are the things I probably really should be posting. But the one thing that I like about um, the community is the support that you get. Because you can't, I don't think that I can't even imagine there being another community that is as supportive as the reselling community.
Me neither.
I, I just
Me
really
neither.
cannot. And I don't even know if I'd want to be a part of that because, I think that everybody rocks. I think that everyone rocks. I think that everyone is, and I love the way that people are stepping up, showing their individuality, showing who they really are, and just being comfortable with themselves. But for the ones that aren't, you know it's a process.
It is. It is.
It's a process, and
I
sometimes you
always
have
tell
to.
people that don't like to show their face on camera, I'm like, DM me your selfies. I will gas you up. I will hype you up. I so
I
that's
know, I
that
know.
offer is always on the table. Even if you do post your face and you just want to be like love bombed, I got you.
Yes, and I think that's awesome. I mean, I would definitely do that. I just think that we have to continue to uplift people. We have to continue to support one another. I think that for those people that we feel might not have that support, it's okay to reach out,
Oh,
to
yeah.
someone. It's okay to reach out and say, hey, I noticed this about you, or I noticed that, you were MIA, for a minute.
Mm.
Let me see if you're okay. Let me see if you're all
That
right
means
because
so much. When I've taken breaks and some of my Insta friends DM me and say, "Hey, are you okay?" Like that means so much.
yes, it means so, so, so much. I just think that, we have to, at this point in time where Zoom and FaceTime and IG and all these things are the tools that we have to connect. Why not use those tools to connect with some people who might have no one? Or who might have people and still feel like they have no one. I
Well,
just think that these are the tools that we have before us. We have a platform to speak from to let others know, hey, it's okay not to be okay. And it's
mhm.
also okay to reach out and talk to someone because I'm here for you, child. I'll listen.
Mhm.
If you want to cuss, I'll cuss with you. If you want to cry, I'll cry with you. I mean, whatever it is you need, honey, I got you. And Miss Allie does too, child. She will get you right on together.
Mhm.
But I just think that people need to know that they are not alone
Yeah.
and that they don't have to resort to, you know, eating, drinking, other things, other activities, unless those are activities that you absolutely are enjoying in moderation.
And again, about the shame. Even if you do, there's no shame. There's no shame. You're still
Mm-mm.
beloved, you are still worthy, you are still deserving of connection, and you still belong here. So,
Well, what are some tips that you can provide for someone who might be feeling, down at this time, down on
mhm.
themselves, down on the world, may have experienced loss. Because for me, I mean, it's been quite some time since I lost my parents, but the holidays just have not been the
Yeah,
same.
it's really tough, a really big time for grief.
Yes.
I
So,
mean, I think like we've been talking about reaching out either, people in your day-to-day life or the friends that you've made here. I think you would be surprised of how many people will sit with you in empathy and feel with you. Um, Another tip, which helps me a lot when I'm feeling down, or feeling especially anxious or stressed out, is just like word vomiting into a journal. Just get it out. There's something so powerful when sometimes I wake up really stressed. It's a cool thing that happens to me. And I just like wake up and my mind is going like, I get to a journal. I go to my journal. I keep it right next to my bed. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be full sentences. Everything that's just like in my head, put it into the journal. And for me, it helps me not carry it through the rest of my day. It's a really powerful practice. Um, if anyone has any specific questions, just
well, Glow Girl Glow just said this is her second year without her mom. Well, I lost that comment. Without her mom, and her first year without her boyfriend. She's not looking forward to the holidays, but she's trying to get into it for her kids.
mm, that's hard. I would say, hold on, let me read it one more time. Second year with them, we won't. I would say, I don't know how old your kids are, but do what you can for them, and it's really healthy for them to see you grieving, right? We model
Mm.
stuff for our kids, so it's okay to let your kids know that mommy doesn't
It's
feel
sad.
is
It's
sad.
sad.
It's
Yeah,
okay. It's
it's okay
okay
to
for
let
them
them
to
know
know
that.
that mommy is sad, and
But as they're learning that you're sad and as you're sharing that you're grieving and as they see you in this moment, they'll also see you as you come out of that and know that it's okay. She's okay and it's okay to have that moment and to go through that process because it is a process, you
yeah.
know. So I
Yeah.
think that sharing with your kids that you feel sad is okay because they know that this teaches kids how to deal with their emotions.
It is a really, I know it's hard and I know it's not ideal and I know there's so much pain there, but there's also a lesson. The healthiest thing that I've said over and over is to give yourself space to feel, and modeling that for your kids can really change their lives, right? Because how we deal with our emotions are really a lot of the time learned behaviors. So for you to have this opportunity to model grief and just be easy on yourself.
Yes, Nikki, you know you can ring a ding ding anytime, girl. But I do agree. I just think that sometimes, whether we want to or not, it's one of the toughest things that even I find hard at times, is that I just have to lean into that grief.
Yeah.
Because even though it's been a while since I lost my parents, it's still around this time, it still kind of it still kind of gets to me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just have to lean into it
Yeah.
and go through that.
Yeah.
You know, I just have to. Splendor Lily Parr says, I journal or turn the music up loud and dance my heart out. It
Mm.
always makes me feel better. I think
Yes.
that's amazing. Duchess of Malibu, Jennifer, journaling is key. 3 dump pages in the morning. Ooh, Jennifer, 3 dump pages. Wow.
I've heard that the dump pages, that some people start every day with journaling. I don't journal every day, but I think that's a great practice. The 3 dump pages. I've heard other people say that. Yeah. So it's just like
Right.
stream of consciousness. You wake up, and brush your teeth, whatever, and you get to your journal, and just whatever comes in your mind, it gets out on the journal. And people really say it helps them go through their day without carrying all of that heaviness.
Right, right. And it's good. And you know, I used to journal a long time ago. Um, I don't as much now. I think because I have, well, I here on social media, I'm just like an open book, you know. If you
Yeah,
want to know,
that's your
you ask.
journal.
If I haven't, yes, if I haven't told you, then you know, you ask, I'll tell. Garage Grease says dancing and singing at the top of our lungs feels great. Yes, it does. Anessa said, I miss many moments with my kids sitting in anger and grief. I wish I had known how to deal and move on. I think again that comes with, you know, sometimes people don't think it's cool to reach out.
Yeah.
Some people are
And
brought
they
up
don't,
that,
and we're not taught. We're not taught.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Some people, a lot of people, I'll say a lot of people that I know, and I'm gonna break it down like this, in the culture, feel like that is just, oh my God, that's other people's problems, not mine. You don't tell your business, you keep it in the home, you lock it down, you throw it to the side, you know, you do all that, when in fact what you're doing is not helpful. You're not helping the next person
Right.
or anything like that. You're just trying to cover it up. It's just like, you know, a cat's poop who just covers it up after they finish or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that I mean, it just does no good. It's still there. You just can't see it maybe, but it's still there. So I just think that, you know, people have to know that it's really okay to reach out. And, you know, I mean, some people feel like, oh, if I tell somebody my business, then they're going to look at me differently. Well, those aren't your people if they're going to look at you differently.
Exactly. Exactly. Those are not your people.
And Spoiled and PDX says, so true. I think we struggle dealing with feelings because our parents hid their emotions from us, so we never learn. You're right about that.
This cycle ends with you. That's what
Yep.
I'm going to say. This cycle ends with you.
Um, Nikki said, thanks, lady. That's why I love this community. Oh, yes, we have an awesome community, I tell you. Um, yes, she says she's finding herself, keep staying busy so she won't think about it. I think that we all have been guilty of that.
I want to say something about that.
Go ahead.
I think it's okay sometimes. But in my opinion, it's no keeping yourself busy, throwing yourself into work is no different than reaching for a cake to make yourself feel better, or a drink, or again to go shopping, or cigarette, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things are okay, and there's no shame about them. But I would say that you need to ask yourself, what is this for? Is it because I need to work, or is it because I'm trying to suppress my feelings? Because we know that prolonged suppressing your feelings, stuffing them, it's going to come out somewhere else, either in a really serious mental health issue or a physical problem, sickness, illness.
And that is so true. I mean, I started off like that after my dad died. My dad was my homie. You know, I mean, we were tight on tight, in tight, around tight.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did go through a long period of time, being mad at myself about the fact that I wasn't there when he died,
Mm-hmm.
or the fact that he died. Period. And I just didn't want to talk about it. I just didn't want to talk about it, but I got to a point where it just all broke one day. And just a flood of tears, some ugly crying went
It
on. But
has to. That was probably the best thing for you.
yes, some ugly crying went on. And I beat myself up for a long time until I had that breakthrough. And actually, it just happened because someone else did something or said something, and it just ticked me off. And then all the emotion that I had,
Everything. Yeah.
everything just came out. And then come to find out that that's what they were trying to help me do,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
I was just, but I tell you, you have to let it go. Sometimes you just lean into it, but you've got to work through it.
Yep.
Um, what is this? Leslie says, yes, our culture needs the couch. Child, they need to buy the couch, sit on the couch, lay on the couch. Uh, Sunflower.
It makes sense with like any marginalized group to kind of put this. If you look at it on like a macro level of people, it makes really perfect sense, because that's survival, to appear strong, right? And
Yes,
if
yes.
emotions are associated with weakness or defenselessness, it just makes sense that how you said the culture, the Black community would put on this really strong
Mhm.
front, which
And that's not to
which
say that.
like this is the perfect example of how stuff starts for survival, because you need to do it, because you
Uh-huh.
can't do anything else. But then as time goes on, it starts affecting you in a negative way.
Right, right. And again,
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
and again, in the African American culture, it's just that even in my own house, I can tell you that my mom said it all the time. You don't tell people what goes on around here. What goes on around here is our business. You don't say this, that, or the other. But then you dig deeper into a lot of things, and so has been molested, or so did this, or so, and then what then? Okay, well, now we have all this, so we're just going to bury this too, and we're just going to make this continuous pile. The pile is growing bigger and bigger because you're burying everything. And when you're burying everything, now your emotions, are all over the place. You know, you're hiding this, you're keeping these secrets, and all these things, and you don't have anybody to talk to, because you feel like you can't talk to anybody because you were told not to talk to anybody. So now what are you going to do? You know.
I think that's why your voice is really important, Rhonda, because not only are you a beautiful person in this community and a leader, in my opinion, but as a Black woman, saying this stuff, I feel, is so important. And I think you saying it gives other people permission to say it too. So
I just think that that's one of the things that you know um, I agree, Splendor Lily Posh. The strong black woman syndrome kills us. And
Yep.
it does. It does. Because, that's just putting that on our shoulders. And it's not that we aren't strong. It's not that women, period, aren't strong. But we can't be so strong that we can't acknowledge the fact that we need to reach out.
I want to say that I think that it's a really big myth, right? And kind of this big cultural misunderstanding that asking for help is a sign of weakness. I think the opposite. I think stuffing it down because you got to be tough because you can't cry or whatever, that's
Hmm.
weakness. How
Yes, definitely.
brave is it? How brave is it to reach your hand out and say, I need help? That's not weak.
Hmm.
That's showing me and showing other people that you believe and deserve and feel that you are worthy of life being better, of being in connection, of
I think you're right. I totally agree. I just think that that's where you are showing your strength is when you can honestly say, "Hey, I'm not okay. I need a little help, or I have something I want to talk about. That I've been dealing with, but do you mind listening or whatever?" Because I think that that is your superpower when you can reach out and say, "I need help,"
right, because
or
keeping it inside, you're keeping it inside because of fear.
it's eating you alive.
Right. So the opposite of that is reaching out your hand, saying I need help. The opposite of, I guess, fear could be courage, right? So
Hmm.
how courageous is it to say I need help? That's why when new clients sign on with me, I'm like, you already took the most important step. You already took the most important step to say
Most
I'm here
definitely.
and I'm ready and I deserve to get better. That's it.
Exactly.
After that, once you're committed to yourself, the rest, all you have to do is sit there and learn because
And
you're
this is
committed.
right. And this is the thing, why you said commitment, is this is the thing, is that I have a friend, look, a friend. I do have a friend who actually I think that for them a show of emotion was like, oh my God, you're weak, you're a punk, you're this, you're that,
Mm.
and all this kind of thing. And that goes on to follow kids who into adulthood, and it eats at your relationship because there's nothing that I mean, you can't show your emotions because you'll be weak. You can't talk about them because you're not supposed to do that. All these various things that go on. I just think that when I tell people about coming in to even talk with me, are you committed, as you said?
Mhm.
Because what it's going to take every ounce of commitment that you have to open up and peel back those layers. Honey, at this point in time, you have become the onion. So we're
Mhm.
just going to peel back the layers. We're going to peel back the layers. And these layers don't, I mean, you didn't get these layers overnight, and you're not going to be rid of them overnight. But once you, as you said, Alec, once you make the commitment, then it's no holds barred. Here's the table, put all your cards down, and we're just going to flip them over one at a time.
Exactly. Exactly.
I just think that it's a beautiful thing when people can um, show themselves some self-love, give themselves a break, and not be so hard on themselves, because you know what, at this point in time, with the world as crazy as it is, the last thing we need to do is beat ourselves up.
Mhm. And
I
I
just
just want to say something else about asking for help. Is somebody in the comments? I'm sorry, it's scrolling.
I know. I'm
But someone said you would be surprised that most people are happy that you came to them and they love to help, and that is neurologically true. We are wired for connection. Um, I saw a study once where they studied babies, little babies, like just toddling, just starting to walk. And they did an experiment where the researcher pretended to have like too much in their arms so they couldn't open the door.
mm-hmm.
Almost every single one of these little toddling babies, like just starting to walk towards the door to try to help open the door. We are wired to reach out our hand and help.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the cutest study in the world.
You have to let me know about that one. I don't think I've seen that.
I saw it at a training. I went to a social emotional learning training, and they showed us that video. I'm like, oh my God, I should have been a scientist if that's what we're doing.
I
But
know,
yeah,
that is amazing. I was
these
like, I have
little
never
tiny
seen that one.
babies.
And look,
Yeah,
and I watch,
so
I being in school, I watch plenty of videos.
yeah.
But discount deals for you. She was actually answering Erin when she said, "I don't mind apologizing, but sometimes asking for help is like, no, Brittany, don't let it be like,
Ask for help from someone you feel safe with. Start there.
yes, yes,
Someone where you know that it's a no-brainer, and it's a practice, and just like anything else, you have to get comfortable with it and kind of ask yourself, and this was a really good discussion, where does that uncomfortability with asking for help come from? Where did I learn it? Because I'll
well,
tell
and
you, when you were
listen,
a
this,
baby, you asked for help. When you needed a diaper change, when you were hungry, you had no problem crying and asking for help. So
right,
that was learned. So ask yourself, where did I learn that?
right,
And
and
how do I want to move forward?
I'm trying to see, is that Herbal Threads? It's blending in. But they were saying that's how I was raised. Emotions were told that it was a sign of weakness. It's one of the things I struggle with. I was told that people have it worse, just always felt dismissed. I'm sorry that you felt that way, but
And
know that
I think it's common.
yeah, know that you are important and you're worth it. You rock. I see you, as Leslie likes to say, I see you.
That's
And,
beautiful.
if you ever need to talk, just reach out.
Yeah.
Allie's a great person to reach out to. And you know what? I already told you, honey, if you just need to cry, I'll cry with you. Whatever you need to do, we'll do it.
I just want to say, if anyone, we talked a lot about reaching to a friend, but if anyone wants to talk to me as a professional, right,
Yes.
and get some, which the French, do that. That is great and beautiful and necessary. But if anyone wants help as a professional, I do have a coaching program. It's linked in my bio. I'm also doing something so cool that I'm so excited about. I'm doing a holiday stress and anxiety management workshop. So
Okay,
it will be on Zoom. It's linked in my bio. The tickets are just $20. It will help support me and my small business, and also help talk about real strategies and real techniques to get you through this holiday season. So I would love if you went to the link in my bio and check that. There's a bigger description of what the webinar or interactive workshop will be. I'm really excited about it.
I'm
I've
excited
never
for
done an event
you.
like this before, so I would love your support. And if you can't attend, or you're not interested, I would just love you to share it on your socials, because I don't know if it's going to be successful. I've never done an event like this before, but I'm really excited about it. So
But here
again,
we
it's linked
go.
in my bio.
But here you go, stepping out on faith.
Yes, yes.
That's the key right there. Um, okay, so Brittany said, I do not want to hurt anyone. I'm probably over nice, so I'll be quick to try to make peace. I don't like confrontation. Well, there are a lot of people who don't like confrontation and, would just always play the peacemaker.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I just think that everybody's just set up differently. And I mean, I used to be that way as well. I just didn't want the noise. I don't want to hear it. Let's just, what can I do to solve this really quick? But, I found that it wasn't good for me to be that way all the time. Sometimes, I mean, for me, I had to take a stand. And
We need new experiences to override those um, negative ones. You can have a confrontation that's not in anger. Maybe
right,
confrontation is not the right word. Maybe
right, a
it's a
conversation.
conversation, right?
Hmm.
So giving yourself the opportunity to have conversations where you set boundaries or ask for what you need is good practice. And it's going to be uncomfortable if that's not something you've done in the past, but the more you do it, the more it becomes your normal.
Right. And she also says when the response was negative, it made her not want to ask for help. She felt dumb. Never feel dumb, first of all. Never, ever. That's something you should never feel.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we can't allow people to make us feel that way either.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have to remove ourselves from those situations and those types of conversation. Now, if we can just have a regular conversation, if there's something that you need to address or have a concern or things like that, I think that's fabulous.
Mhm.
But never allow anyone to make you feel less than, because you already know that you're more than.
Yes.
Splendor Lily Posh says asking for help makes you vulnerable and that isn't a good feeling. Ooh,
I can say a lot about that, but
I know. Go ahead.
Brene Brown is like my favorite social
She
worker of
is.
all time. I talk about her all the time. She is like the country's leading shame researcher, and she has talked to from teachers to other social workers to police officers to veterans. And in her research, she finds again and again and again the same thing. There is no courage without vulnerability. I'm going to say that again. There is no courage without vulnerability. And that's where I'm going to leave that for now.
Right. Um, Leslie, a reseller's passion, says, I don't like confrontation, but I won't let someone walk over me. Well, that's a good point. And you
Can I
should.
cuss? Do no harm, take no shit. Here's the mantra. Do no harm. Everybody do this with me at home. Do no harm, take no shit.
Hello. I like that. I like that. Sometimes you gotta, sometimes you just gotta. Let's see. Oh, okay. Infinitely Posh says, I never knew how to ask for help. I used to always lash out from everyone, but having kids, I've changed so much. My
Mm.
kids have changed me. I've learned to ask for help because of them. Maybe kids will do it to you.
Mm-hmm.
They will let you see your real self.
Mm-hmm.
They will definitely be a mirror for you. And what they're mirroring back to you what they see you doing, and a light bulb will come on and you'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe I need to change that. Kids will do it for you.
Yeah, yeah. There are some of our greatest teachers.
Brittany said, yes, I've gotten better at asking for help and dealing with confrontation. Whoop, whoop. Let me see. So amazing. Oh, yes. Michelle, Courageously Thriving, says, Infinitely Passionate is so amazing what our children teach us without even knowing it. Mine have taught me patience. I knew I never had. Ooh, girl, they will teach you that. Let me tell you. Um, Wait a minute. Hold on. I missed something. Don't look at it as Oh, okay. It's Bossy says, don't look at it as a confrontation, make it a conversation. And if the result isn't favorable, let it go.
Mm-hmm. Rhonda, I need to eat lunch.
Oh, that's cool. We're about to wrap this up. I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure we didn't have, I wasn't missing anything in the comments.
I
Well,
think we got mostly everything.
I think so. I think so.
Thank
Well,
you so much,
I,
Rhonda.
oh, I appreciate you
I
so
was
much,
so
Kelly.
looking forward to this.
I know. Well, I was looking forward to you coming on. I was really excited about it. I'm hoping everyone enjoyed the conversation, and thanks for joining the conversation today. I'll actually be posting LA's and I's chat on my YouTube channel, Brunch with Diva. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please go to Wild Heart Collective _ to her bio, sign up for her class that she's offering. Did you say what date it was?
It's going to be December 19th at 1 p.m. So that's a Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And if you sign up and you can't make it, you'll get a recording. So don't worry about if you can't make it. I mean, obviously, it's ideal to be there live. But like I said, it's $20. And it's my first one, and I would love your support. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, and thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much.
Rhonda. It is. I will come anytime. I love having brunch with Diva.
Well, thank you so much for having Brunch with Diva, and thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on IG.
Bye.